Yo, what up YouTube? It's Bryce, and I'm going to be doing an update on my Last Warrior from Another Planet deck. And it's been like 2 formats, so some stuff has changed, and I guess let's get to the deck. First off, we have 3 Zumbriah the Dark, 2100 4-star warrior. He's part of the Last Warrior fusion, and the fact it's a 4-star warrior and a 2100 body that you can put on the board contribute to the deck's success quite a bit, I guess. Then 1 Yugiohs, the other part of the fusion, we run 1 because it's not nearly as good. And then 2, the Earth Hex-Sealed Fusion. What this card is a substitute for any fusion material monster, but also has a secondary effect of the fact that you contribute this and the other fusion materials from the field to special summon an Earth fusion monster. So you can tribute this while you already have Zumbriah on the board, and then you get Last Warrior out, basically. It's like hard summoning into Last Warrior, so that's really good. A lot of the cards in this deck are good for multiple reasons, and that's what contributes to the deck working, really. Like this card, for example, King of the Swamp. This also can be used as any fusion substitute, but it also, you can discard it and get a polymerization from your deck to your hand. So it's good. A lot of these combo pieces, it's like if you open up with like any of them, you can get out Last Warrior. So you get it out a lot first turn, actually, so that's good. And also it is a water for absolute 0, so that makes it really good as well. And then the non-Last Warrior parts of the deck, Stratos, because it searches out heroes such as Prisma. We run 3 Prisma to dump usually Zumbriah, sometimes Yugiohs, to the grave and get out Last Warrior faster. Just another combo piece that you could potentially draw and get it out first turn. 1 Bubble Man, just for the big pushes, I guess. People don't expect you to Stratos or Rhoda for Bubble Man and then overlay into Blade Armor and do 44. They're just not expecting that. Plus it's a water, that's good. 1 Elemental Hero Woodsman. If you guys don't know this card's effect, once per turn during your standby, you can add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. It's got 2000 defense, so you just set it, they run into it, your standby, you add a polymerization. It's good. It's also an elemental hero and a 4-star warrior. So you can search it with Stratos if you need to. It's still a plus, basically, from Stratos. And then 2 Card Troopers. This card is another card that contributes to the deck in several ways. You can set it while Last Warrior is on the board, and then if it eventually gets destroyed later by a Dark Hole or something, which is usually people's only out to Last Warrior, then you get to draw a card, so that's good. It's also 1900 when you mill 3, obviously, so it can act as a beater, and also milling fuels your Miracle Fusion. So, like I said, these cards all synergize pretty well together, actually. Then on to the spells. Reborn, amazing in most decks, especially in this. Heavy, yeah. Dark Hole, it's too good. I don't see how some decks aren't running this. Actually, I do see how they're not running it, but at the same time, I feel you need this card, especially like against this deck, for example. If they don't run this, they largely don't have any outs. Dark Hole used to be people's only out to Last Warrior. But now they have none, so I guess this deck's even better. 1 Rhoda. Amazing card, obviously, but just worth mentioning, once again, that you can search Zumbriah with this, not just, like, Stratos. 1 Book. Not necessarily a staple anymore, so I will explain this one. Basically, it's defense, and also, you can book your Last Warrior and then go off when you have a bunch of set cards. You just flip them all up, make some Exceeds, Miracle Fusion some, and just go for OTKs when your opponent hasn't been playing any cards. 2 Pot of Duality, search out combo pieces, basically. 2 MST main deck because, just because, I guess, space issues. I wanted to keep it to 40. We do side the 3rd, I guess, is all I can say on that. 2 Forbidden Chalice. This card is really good because you can flip it in the damage step on flip effect monsters, and you just protect your Last Warrior with it, basically. 2 Forbidden Lance. Like I said, Dark Hole is people's only out half the time, so they finally draw their Dark Hole and you just flip a Lance, and they either cry and scoop or just play it out and then you end up winning anyway, because like I said, it's their only out. 3 polymerization. You need this to get Outlast Warrior. You can't Miracle Fuse for it, obviously. So this card's really good. And you can also, like most cards, it has a secondary use. You can just bring out heroes in the grind game. This deck has a really fun and actually pretty good grind game, even when you don't get Outlast Warrior, because of the heroes. So yeah, that helps there too. And 3 Miracle Fusion. This card's just broken. It's broken beyond belief, really. Like, this card, if this card wasn't here, the deck would be probably a lot less good. But this just helps with your quote-unquote secondary win condition, I guess, of the heroes in the grind game. It's really the same win condition, which is reduce life points by attacking, but you guys know what I mean. And then the traps, we run the 3 Royal Decree. That's why I said Dark Hole's usually their only out, because what you do with this deck is you get Outlast Warrior, and then you sit and you wait. I've lost several games in my life from being, I guess, overzealous and trying to do things when I shouldn't have. So you sit and you wait for the Decree before you attack. You wait for the Chalice if they have a face down and you don't know what they're playing. Yeah, and you can't necessarily wait for the Lance for the Dark Hole, but if you have it, you do feel a lot more confident. But yeah, Decree, key part of this deck's success. And then the 1 Call of the Haunted, because you can bring back Last Warrior with it, and you don't always have Decree. And anyway, let's go to the extra deck. You guys are probably somewhat interested in this. First off, we have the Cowboy, because, like I said, you sit and you wait to draw your Decree or whatever you need to make sure you're safe. And that can cause games to be pretty long, so in a tournament setting, you definitely need this guy for, I guess, time. Abyss Dweller, the deck can't do that much against Mermail, other than get Outlast Warrior before they can do anything, and then they can't summon cards, so that does hinder them. But Abyss Dweller, for Mermail, basically, it does not synergize that well with the deck, because it doesn't really help you at all, because you're trying to get out Last Warrior, and when Last Warrior comes out, it blows this up, but it can help you stall, I guess. Excalibur, because you can make it, and it's good, and people sometimes don't expect it, I guess. And Blade Armor for the same reason. Gaia, onto the hero fusions, I guess. Gaia, because you can make it, and this card isn't just there because of Earths. I know I've said this like 2 or 3 times, but this card really actually has a great effect. 2-0, this card's amazing. You make a 0 before you bring out your Last Warrior, sometimes. It's just a play I like. You make a 0, and then you make the Last Warrior, and it blows up the 0, and therefore blowing up your opponent's field. So then you get free pokes with Last Warrior. And you don't have to worry about those pesky face downs, I guess. 1 Neos Knight. What this card is a fusion of Elemental Hero Neos and 1 Warrior. So you can make this with either the Earth Hex Sealed Fusion or King of the Swamp and any Warrior. And that can be really good, obviously. You can Miracle Fuse for it because it's a hero, and you can also Super Poly your opponent's warriors, such as Sheehan. That's really why it's in here. Logically, I'd run Escurado or whatever, the dark one, I guess, but I don't physically own the card, and yeah, that's really the reason. It's not that it's hard to obtain anymore, but yeah, so you guys could replace that for the Dark E-Hero if you really want, but I like this card because I like running cards people don't know. Like this one, Vision Hero Trinity. What this one is, it's 3 hero monsters, and when it's fusion summoned, its attack is doubled that turn, so it's 5,000 attack the first turn, and it can attack 3 times, but it can't attack directly. But it is good against, like, I don't know, if your opponent has a safe zoned monster or something like that, really is what it's good for. And also just, you can slap a lot of damage out if they have attack position monsters, basically. Good in the grind game, basically. This is another card you could cut for like a Black Ship of Corn if you own it. But I like the card because people don't know what it does, and I like that feeling. 2 Shining, amazing card. Usually you're going to go for 0 in this deck, but Shining is also a card you can go into with confidence that if it goes to the graveyard, you're getting back your probably Stratos and something else. 1 Great Tornado. Another really good card, like Gaia. It's not just there because it's that attribute hero. It actually is a really good card. That's the thing about all the hero fusions. They're all really good except for the dark one. So that's good. 2 Last Warrior. You do bring out 2 sometimes. Like, like it actually happens. It's not just there for that rare scenario. You actually do have to bring out 2 sometimes. So it's really good. And I guess if you guys don't know what this card does, this is the basis of the deck. What it does is when it's fusion summoned, or when it's special summoned actually, because it can be reborn or called a haunted id, you destroy all monsters on your side of the field except it, which obviously seems bad, but you usually don't have any. And as long as it's on the field, both players cannot summon, including flip or special summon, any monsters. So people, obviously, a lot of the time don't know what the card does. They read it, and then they think they can't set either, for some reason. And so that just plays to my advantage. And then I'll usually not set while they are not setting, because obviously it helps me. They're not building up a field of monsters. So yeah, that's good. And then yeah, they can't summon monsters. That's obviously how most decks win games. So this shuts down all of that, and you just play Protect the Last Warrior, and you win a lot of the time if you get this out first turn or early game. And then we have the Chimeritic Fortress Dragon main deck, because we can make it potentially with their Cyber Dragon and machines if they leave it on the board, because no one's expecting that, I guess, anymore. So I've done that a couple times, and it's just a good card. Onto the side deck. I'm sorry this video is kind of long, but there's a lot to explain since some of these cards you guys don't necessarily know. 2 Cyber Dragon. This is for machines, obviously, or whatever, really, because it's a beater. 2 Raikou. Really, this is for, I guess, Evil Swarms to hit the Ophion, but also it mills, which synergizes with the deck because of Miracle Fusion. 2 Droll and Lockbird for, I guess, Prophecies or Elemental Dragons or whatever. 1 Nova Master. We literally can't make it main decked, so that's why we side it for, I guess, Fire Fist or even Rabbit. Because of the 2 Super Poly, we can hit the Logia, and Super Poly can go in against pretty much everything. It's a really good card. 1 MST in the side deck for, I guess, Mermail or Fire Fist or whatever, really. 2 Overworked for Fire Fist, so we kind of side a lot for them. But all the cards except for Overworked can also work against other decks. So, yeah. 2 Soul Drain for Mermails. Yes, this significantly, honestly, does hurt this deck. But I suppose it hurts them more, is the logic. And that deck is obviously one of the best decks, so Soul Drain is good. And I don't know, you could put it in on Elemental Dragons, I guess. You could. I don't know why I zoomed in on the effect and then didn't let it focus, but you guys know what it does. And then 1 Compulse. Really, this is for, I guess, anything, but also mainly for Elemental Dragons. You just, if you go first and you draw it, game 2, I guess, then you could potentially set the Compulse, and then when they summon the Drago Sack, you try to Compulse it, and hopefully do, because it doesn't destroy. Yeah, so that's the deck, guys. Hopefully you like it. You guys have mentioned, like, Light of Intervention. I don't think that card is honestly good or really helps with the win condition at all of the deck. I see what you're doing. They can't set monsters. But I think this deck is the most, I guess, consistent build possible, really. I guess you could add E-Calls for something, but this is the deck that I like, and I've tested it a lot and played probably at least over 100 games with the deck, probably. So, yeah, I like it, and if you guys like it, go ahead and thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys, and peace.